I have to get to level 60 as a warrior without dying a single time. However, I can only use one weapon type, and that is fist weapons. This means I won't have access to some of the craziest weapons available when leveling in Classic, such as the Wind Fury Axe from the Warrior questline, Cruel Barb from Dead Mines, and other huge weapons that make a real impactful difference to your character's power. The other glaring issue with this is that fist weapons are by far the most underdeveloped weapon class by a country mile in WoW Classic, meaning there's far and few between to choose from, and I can't even get my first until level 10. I can't dual wield them until level 20, and at one point I'm going to be stuck with the same weapon for a whole 16 levels until it's possible to get an upgrade. So overall I'm going to be much weaker. We're also going in solo self-found, meaning I cannot trade or use the auction house, so I cannot make my experience easier by using things such as weapon enchants or auction house bought gear. This also raises other challenges. The skull will be a very valuable resource, especially before we get started with fist weapons, as just unlocking the skill and buying my first one will set me back over 30 silver, which is a lot for a level 10 warrior. To get this challenge started, I need to power level my way to 10 as fast as possible. After swiftly clearing the starting zone, I made a beeline for Bloodhoof Village, picking up every quest I could find, but before that, I stopped by Thunderbluff to pick up Herbalism. Why? Because I decided to go alchemy over engineering. Sure, engineering has its perks, but alchemy offers something even better. Swiftness potions, free action potions, and of course limited invulnerability potions. Or if you're a sweat, faps and lips. I value these things over other items such as target dummies that engineering can offer because I'm self-found, so I can't just go to the auction house and buy these things. After mowing through Mulgore and hitting level 10, it was time for the grand journey to Orgrimmar, where I could finally unlock the fist weapon skill and get my first weapon. But first, I had to actually make it there. This is exactly why I never tab out whilst I'm running, because if I do, I might just end up getting bodied by a random mob just like this. 10 out of 10, would not recommend. So when I arrived in Crossroads, I quickly realised that I wouldn't have the funds to get both my fist weapon skill and my first weapon itself. Thus I needed to do some extra farming or quests beforehand, and I knew of a couple of combat-free quests in Crossroads that could net me the extra cash flow that I required to get this show on the road. I grabbed Fungal Spores and the Forgotten Pools, two quests that can be knocked out in the oasis just north of the Crossroads. Simple enough, you just go for a swim and collect some spores, and if the spores aren't there, then you can just simply layer hop to another layer and collect them there. This will net us a pretty funky staff that's worth a fat chunk of change that we can then use to sell and buy our fist weapon. And for those of you just straight speedrunning a Tauren warrior, this staff also happens to be kind of bis in terms of damage for a little bit as well. After securing the bag with those two quests, I finally made it to Orgrimmar, ready to learn how to fist someone. With my new skills in hand, sorry, that's an awful joke, I quickly knocked out the quest for Sticky Glue and the Faintly Glowing Skull. Now, you might be wondering why I went after these. Sticky Glue is basically life insurance in hardcore. It could be the difference between victory and deleting my character. And the skull, well, that might save my hide when I face the big daddy of Durotar shortly in the rest of this video. With those items secured, it was time to go and take on Fizzle. And if you've seen my previous video, you already know that this fight can get a little bit scuffed when it comes to getting other players involved.
Oh, baby, you know how to turn my gears. Ever rode a rocket before? Mine's huge.
First off, I cleared out the backside of lizards. I needed them for my level test warrior quest anyway, and if I ended up running for my life, the last thing I wanted to pull was even more mobs. Especially ones that just spam lightning bolts at you. With the area secured and a perimeter established, I turned my attention to Fizzle. I started sizing him up, testing the waters, and see what would pull when I went in, but there was one problem. I hadn't learned any ranged weapons yet. No bows, no guns, not even throwing weapons. So my strategy was to basically wing it. Then, out of nowhere, a hunter dropped in and sent me a group invite. Now normally, I'm all about the solo challenge, but when it comes to quest mobs, even if I am doing a challenge, I refuse to grief someone else's experience. What I didn't realise was this hunter's middle name was probably I was a little bit slow to get into this fight because I was blinded by the size of this guy's massive ball. I thought I'd be able to kill Fizzle and get out. However, things started going bad fast and I didn't have any chicken. So it was time to channel my inner only roaches and get the fuck out of there.
Health warning.
So I got as far as I could without wandering into any more thundery boys and immediately started bandaging. It was then the hunter came out, still with some leash mobs, and then I had a decision to make. A. Roach out. B. Stand and fight. C. Back to Mulgore and blame the hunter, obviously. D. Distract Fizzle long enough through the medium of dance so the hunter can activate the one brain cell he has left in his body to take down this green little fuckboy.
Come on, please.
Ooh, child, things are gonna be easier. Ooh, child, things will be brighter. Someday, put it together.
Turns out this green little fuckboy didn't have the moves to keep up. Thanks, Star-Lord. And then just for good measure, I had to save this hunter's ass one more time, obviously. Skull Rock, the notorious cave in northeastern Durotar that has earned its reputation as a death trap for many an adventurer. This cavern series is a stronghold for the Burning Blade cult, teeming with warlocks and their formidable voidwalker minion. These voidwalkers are particularly lethal and known for their high damage output, making them a significant threat to anyone who's underprepared. At the heart of this lair resides Gazz'uz, an orc warlock who stands as the endgame boss for Durotar. Facing him at a lower level seems somewhat of a rite of passage, but it's fraught with peril. Many players have met their demise here, so much so that the cave is infamous within the hardcore community, and I would probably argue this is the most dangerous place in all of Azeroth, mathematically speaking. However, with the right strategies, such as careful pulling, any crowd control you have available, and awareness of patrol patterns, navigating Skull Rock can become a more manageable task. But make no mistake, when things go awry in this cave, they escalate quickly. Respawns can catch you off guard, and the confined spaces leave little room for error. It's a place where caution isn't just advised, it's absolutely mandatory. So as I step into Skull Rock, I'm fully aware that one misstep could turn this venture into a swift and brutal end before we've barely gotten started. And there he is, the big bad boss of the big bad cave. The final hurdle standing between me and victory, or a trip back to Mulgore. Now Gazz'uz isn't your average boss mob at the end of a cave. This guy's packing serious firepower. Between his shadow bolts and his voidwalker's devastating melee hits, plenty of adventurers have been sent packing back to Brill by this green menace. But I have a plan, and that plan stinks. You see, Gazz'uz's big purple meat shield over there, the voidwalker, yeah, it can't swim. They left their armbands at home, so if we take this fight to the water, it'll be mono on mono with me and Gazz'uz. Plan simple, aggro Gazz'uz, then make a break for the water faster than the bindings of the Windseeker that found their way into Sardoko's bag.
How close is next to the boss?
Oh my god, I just
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Anyway, looks like Gazz'uz should have been practicing more of his backstroke instead of his shadow bolts. After an eventful day fisting my way through the population of Durotar, I completed all the prerequisite quests that I needed for Ragefire Chasm. It was getting late, but I thought why not join a group for a last minute cap off to the night. It was a little bit sketchy because we had a few low characters. I was the highest level character and then we had like a level 12, a level 11. It was pretty sketch. But at this point I had a profound revelation. Fist weapon in one hand and a shield in the other. I'd only just realised that I wasn't a character anymore, but I was basically cosplaying Captain America. World of Warcraft Hardcore, Captain America build. Probably would have been a way harder title than whatever I have gone with. But I won't be rocking a shield for long. Soon at level 20 we'll be dual wielding, and so with that in mind, I channeled my inner Captain America and ploughed my way through this dungeon as quick as I could, as it was late on a Tuesday night, and so the server was going to go down for maintenance. At this point, I'm really looking out for those greens because every little upgrade is a godsend, as my weapon is almost beyond useless and wet noodle level already. With it possible to get a nice 2 strength 2 agility cape from the first boss, and some 1 strength 2 stamina wrists as well. And lastly, I can hand in the Undercity quest for this, netting me a pretty tasty 2 strength 2 stam 2 agility male legs across the board. Pretty tasty stuff. Taragaman the Hungerer, the big bad of Ragefire Chasm, and he who doth have what one desires. He's not a very threatening boss. He has 2 abilities. One of them being a Fire Nova, which can be pretty scary if you get low with a whole chunk of damage, so your healer needs to keep you up relatively high. And the second being a sort of knock up, knock back. So if you're dumb enough to be stood close to the edge, he can knock you off and throw you into the lava, causing you to be one shot. And there it is, the drop I was after. Finally something to make me suck just a little bit less. Maybe now my punches won't feel like gentle tickles, and it's a sign that Blizz doesn't completely hate me. Now, with the server maintenance imminent, we were under a lot of pressure to get through this dungeon as quick as possible. Sadly, after this pull, we all sensibly decided to walk out of the dungeon before the reset, because God knows what will happen to our characters if we're inside during the reset. We were so close to getting it done, but then the clock hit 0. Time's up, Blizzard said. Not today, champ. So sadly, we didn't get all the quests completed, and I didn't get all the gear I wanted. No epic finale, but that means I can come back tomorrow. I'll take every bit of power that I can from this dungeon, so I can go into Dead Mines and the rest of Barrens as powerful as possible, as my level 10 white fist weapon could now seriously do with a couple of blue pills, if you know what I mean. So next time we should be hitting 20, getting dual wield, our new fist weapons, and we'll feel a nice power spike for a good couple levels, at least. If you enjoyed watching me fist my way through classic WoW with the worst weapon class imaginable, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Seriously, it helps me out more than you know, and it keeps me motivated to keep the madness going. I'll be streaming this challenge live over on Twitch every Monday to Wednesday, starting from the 24th during EU evenings, so come hang out, watch me struggle and laugh at my pain. And to make things even more chaotic, we're going to be introducing the Wheel of Destiny. Every stream will spin the wheel to get 2 ridiculous challenges, and then you, yes you, the viewers, will get to vote on which one I have to suffer through. So make sure to subscribe and hit a notification bell so you don't miss a single moment of the madness, and who knows, maybe you'll get to be the one voting on who ruins my day.